My child, I know the ache you have been carrying in silence. I know what it feels like to lie awake and wonder if the one you prayed for is real, if the love you long for has already passed you by, if you are somehow the only one still standing in the doorway while everyone else walks into the promise. I know the sting of betrayal that makes you second-guess every smile, every message, every delay. I know the lonely question you have not said out loud. Lord, did you forget me? Beloved, you have not been forgotten. You have been seen in every tearful night, every failed connection, every moment you told yourself you were fine when your heart was breaking under the surface. And because the waiting has hurt so deeply, you have started reaching for answers in places that cannot hold your soul. You have looked for signs in numbers, in songs, in sudden encounters, in the patterns of a stranger's words. You have tried to manifest what you cannot control. You have asked the universe to do what only heaven can do. You have opened your heart to any voice that sounded hopeful, because desperation has a way of making even uncertainty feel better than silence. My child, I understand why you searched there. I understand why your heart wanted something, anything, to tell you that love was still coming. But I need you to hear me clearly. Not every sign is from me, and not every delay is denial. There is someone on your heart right now. You have wondered about them more than you have admitted. You have replayed conversations, looked for hidden meaning, and felt a strange pull that you cannot explain away. You have asked whether this is destiny, whether this is the one, whether this is the person your life has been circling around all this time. And what you do not know, what you could not see, is that your soulmate is carrying a truth they are afraid to speak. They are not silent because they do not feel deeply. They are silent because what they feel has frightened them. The truth inside them is heavier than they know how to explain. My beloved, people often assume that fear only looks like running away. But sometimes fear looks like hesitation. Sometimes fear looks like mixed signals. Sometimes fear looks like a person who keeps coming close, then stepping back. They do not tell you what is happening in their heart because they are wrestling with their own history, their own wounds, their own shame. They are afraid that if they say too much, everything will become real. They are afraid that if they admit what they feel, they will have to face what they have been avoiding. They are afraid of being known, and they are afraid of losing you. So they stay between honesty and concealment, and that in-between place is confusing you more than you realize. But I want you to rest for a moment and listen. I have not released you to confusion forever. I do not build relationships on half-truths and hidden motives. I do not lead my children into love through torment and endless guessing. If something is meant for you, I can uncover it in my time. If something is not for you, I can remove it without breaking what I have promised. Nothing hidden can hide from me forever. The secret things belong to me, and I know exactly when to bring them into the light. You have been trying to force clarity, but my child, clarity born from panic will always feel unstable. You have read too many messages, searched too many pages, asked too many people who do not even know the whole story. And each time you get a little hope, then a little fear, then hope again, your soul grows tired. That is because your heart was never meant to live on scraps of uncertainty. Your heart was meant to be anchored in my voice. Not in every passing impression. Not in every emotional high. Not in the opinions of people who can only guess. In my voice. So hear me now. I see the truth they are afraid to tell you. I see the words trapped behind their lips. I see the moments when they start to speak and then swallow it down. I see the tension in their chest when your name appears. I see the way they have been trying to act unaffected while their spirit is unsettled. And I see you too, beloved. I see how long you have been carrying hope with trembling hands, afraid to believe fully because disappointment has visited you before. I see how every delay has made you more suspicious, more guarded, more ready to assume the worst. But I am not the author of your fear, and I am not asking you to build your life on a shadow. There is a reason this truth has stayed concealed for now. Not every delay is punishment. Some delays are protection. Some delays are preparation. I am dealing with things you cannot yet see. I am exposing what is false and strengthening what is real. I am uncovering motives, healing old wounds, and making sure that when what is true is finally spoken, it will not destroy what I intend to bless. My ways are not rushed by human anxiety. My timing is not manipulated by human pressure. When I open a door, no fear can shut it. When I close a door, no longing can reopen it. So if you have been feeling the urge to chase, to decode, to cling, I want you to release that strain into my hands. Beloved, the truth is not disappearing. It is being held until the moment it can be carried safely. And while you wait, I am not silent. I am teaching your heart how to stand without panic. I am teaching you how to trust what you cannot yet confirm. I am teaching you how to let peace become stronger than obsession. And yes, I know this matters to you deeply. I know you have asked whether this person feels what you feel. I know you have wondered if their distance means rejection or fear. I know you have been tempted to read every pause as a sign that you imagined the whole thing. But listen carefully. Not every quiet season is the end of the story. Some hearts are still being dealt with by me. Some truths take time to mature. Some people need to face what they have buried before they can stand in honesty. And if this connection is covered by my hand, then what is hidden will not remain hidden forever. My child, do not let the waiting make you cynical. Do not let hurt convince you that love only comes to wound you. Do not let fear dress itself up as wisdom and tell you to expect nothing. I am the God who reveals, the God who restores, the God who speaks when the time is right. Stay near to me now. Let me steady you. Let me guard your heart from false hope and from hardened unbelief. Because the truth you long for is closer than you think, and when it comes, you will know it was never out of my sight. My child, I need you to understand why this has been so difficult for them, because once you see the wound, you will stop assuming the silence was only about you. It was never only about you. Their fear has been sitting at the table for a long time. Fear of being hurt again. Fear of not being enough. Fear of choosing wrong and paying for it for the rest of their life. Fear that if they open their heart, they will lose control of the life they have worked so hard to keep together. So they hesitate, and then they hide, and then they call it wisdom when really it is self-protection. And some of it is pressure, beloved. You do not always see what people are carrying behind their smile. Bills waiting on the counter. Responsibilities that never stop knocking. Expectations from family. A future that feels too expensive to build. They may look calm on the outside, but inside they are calculating risks, wondering if love is a blessing or a burden, wondering if they can afford to be vulnerable when life already feels stretched thin. That pressure can make a person clamp down on the very thing their soul is reaching for. They do not know how to tell you, I am afraid, so they act distant instead. They do not know how to admit, I am overwhelmed, so they become unreadable. And then there is broken trust. My child, broken trust makes people strange. It teaches them to question good things. It makes them suspicious of what they once would have received with joy. Someone lied to them before. Someone promised and did not keep it. Someone entered their heart and then mishandled it. So now, when something pure appears, they do not know whether to thank me or defend themselves. They love carefully because they have been wounded deeply. They listen with half an ear because they have learned that not every sweet word is safe. They keep truth buried because in their mind, hidden pain feels safer than exposed hope. And pride, beloved, pride plays its own quiet role. Not always loud, not always arrogant, but subtle. The kind that says, I should be able to figure this out on my own. The kind that says, if I admit I need this person, I lose power. The kind that whispers, if I say what I feel, I may not be able to recover if they do not feel the same. Pride does not always look like boasting. Sometimes pride looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like a person refusing to be the first one to speak because they do not want to look foolish. Sometimes it looks like emotional distance that is really a shield around a tender, terrified heart. But my child, none of this is bigger than me. None of it. I have seen fear before. I have walked people through pressure before. I have healed broken trust before. I have brought down pride before. I know the human heart better than the one who carries it knows themselves. And I have a long record of doing what people said could not be done. Remember Job. He sat in ashes with no explanation. He lost what he loved, and for a while it looked like heaven was silent. His friends had theories. His circumstances looked final. But I was not absent, and I was not cruel. I was working in the unseen. I was proving that what was planted in him could survive the storm. I did that for him, and I am doing it for you. I am teaching you that your life is not held together by appearances, but by my hand. Remember Joseph. Betrayed, sold, misunderstood, forgotten in prison. He had dreams from me, but the path to those dreams passed through the pit. The pit did not mean the promise was false. The prison did not mean I had changed my mind. It meant I was aligning people, timing, and purpose in a way that no human could have orchestrated. I did that for him, and I am doing it for you. If this story has felt delayed, it has not escaped my notice. What looks like detour is often my preparation. Remember David, my child, anointed, but not yet enthroned, chosen, but chaste. He knew what it was to be loved by me and still spend seasons hiding in caves. He had to learn how to trust me when the promise and the pressure seemed to live in the same breath. He had to keep his heart soft while danger circled him. I did that for him, and I am doing it for you. Your anointing does not exempt you from waiting, but it does mean the waiting is not wasted. Remember Moses. He stood before impossible waters and impossible people. He felt inadequate, slow of speech, unqualified in his own eyes. Yet I met him in the wilderness, not in the palace. I spoke through his insecurity, not around it. I used the very place that seemed most unfit to shape a deliverer. I did that for him, and I am doing it for you. You may feel unready. They may feel unready. But my readiness is not limited by human weakness. Do you see the pattern, my beloved? I have never been intimidated by delay. I have never been defeated by fear. I have never failed because the people involved were imperfect. I work through fear. I work through pressure. I work through the aftermath of betrayal. I work through the wrestling, the hesitation, the unanswered questions. I am not waiting to be invited into your story. I am already there. And this is why I keep telling you not to judge the ending by the middle. The middle is where people panic. The middle is where they misread what they are feeling. The middle is where old wounds speak louder than truth. But I am writing beyond the middle. I am writing to the part where what was hidden becomes plain. I am writing to the part where what was feared is finally faced. I am writing to the moment when their mouth catches up with their heart. My child, there are things they cannot say yet because they have not made peace with what the truth will cost them. They know that honesty will require surrender. They know that if they speak, they may have to choose. They may have to let go of an old identity, an old relationship, an old excuse, or an old plan. Truth always asks for something. That is why so many people avoid it. But what they do not realize is that what truth costs in the moment, it restores in the long run. A lie may feel safe for a night, but it always grows heavier by morning. Truth may tremble at first, but it breathes better in the light. So while they wrestle, I am still governing. While they hesitate, I am still arranging. While they wonder whether they can trust what is in their own heart, I am testing what is real. And I am also looking after you, because your heart matters to me too much to leave exposed to every uncertainty. I am teaching you discernment without hardness. I am teaching you patience without passivity. I am teaching you how to stand in expectation without becoming enslaved to an outcome. There is a reason this has not fully broken open yet. I am protecting you from a premature confession that would collapse under pressure. I am protecting you from a half-truth that would give you hope without foundation. I am protecting you from settling for someone's interest when I am after their whole heart. Beloved, I do not just want to give you a person. I want to give you peace. I do not just want to give you a connection. I want to give you something that can withstand fire. And if they are mine, I will deal with them. If they are yours to love, I will soften what has become hard. If they are yours to wait for, I will keep your heart from straying into counterfeit comfort. If they are yours to release, I will give you the strength to let go without losing yourself. But do not confuse silence with absence. Do not confuse fear with finality. Do not confuse delay with denial. I am still here, and I am still working. My child, let me take you deeper now, because I know the kind of life you have been living while this silence has stretched on. I know the kind of nights that do not look dramatic from the outside, but inside they are battles. You have stared at the ceiling after the phone went quiet. You have scrolled through old messages, then deleted them, then pulled them back up again. You have sat in your kitchen after the house went still, and the weight of everything hit you all at once. The bills, the diagnosis, the divorce papers, the empty chair, the job that disappeared without warning, the friend who turned on you, the family member who said they would stay and then left you holding the pieces. Beloved, I know how modern suffering feels because I see it all. I see the single mother pretending she is only tired when she is actually exhausted from carrying 3 people's burdens. I see the man who lost his job and now feels like he lost his identity with it. I see the woman who is still smiling after the betrayal because she does not know how to explain the crack in her heart. I see the one sitting in the waiting room with a phone in hand, trying to act brave while fear keeps tapping on the ribs. I see the one who has been praying for healing, then receiving another report that seems to contradict the last one. I see the one who is divorced and wondering whether love was a mistake. I see the one who has loved faithfully and still been abandoned. And I want you to hear me gently. Your pain has not gone unnoticed just because you had to carry it alone. I have seen every late payment, every medical bill, every unopened email, every argument in the car, every silent dinner, every night you said, "I cannot do this anymore," and then did it anyway because you had no choice. There are tears that never fell because you were too strong, too responsible, too accustomed to holding it together. But I collected them all. I have not wasted one moment of your suffering, and I have not wasted one moment of theirs either. Because while you thought you were waiting for an answer from a person, I was working in both hearts. I was stripping away illusions. I was confronting old patterns. I was bringing hidden motives to the surface. I was allowing what was weak to reveal itself and what was authentic to survive the pressure. You thought the delay was simply time passing, but it was more than time. It was preparation. Preparation you could not see. Preparation they could not understand. Preparation for a truth that would have crushed both of you had it arrived too early. There are moments, my child, when what you want most is not what you are ready to carry. You wanted them to speak before they were ready. You wanted clarity before the foundation could hold it. You wanted the promise without the process. And I do not say this to shame you, beloved. I say it because I love you enough to tell you the truth. Some doors open only after the ground beneath them has been strengthened. Some hearts confess only after I have dealt with the fear that wrapped itself around their voice. Some connections cannot move forward until I have removed the things that would have poisoned them from the inside. So when it felt like nothing was happening, something was happening. When it looked like they were stalling, I was slowing what needed to be slowed. When you thought you were being ignored, I was guarding you from a version of this story that would not have lasted. When you thought they were drifting away, I was exposing what was false and preserving what was true. What you called delay, I called mercy. But there is something I need you to know before I say anything else. The thing they are afraid to tell you is not just about their feelings. It is about what they had to confront in themselves before they could even imagine speaking to you honestly. They have realized that what they carry for you is real. That is not the question. The question is whether they are willing to become the kind of person who can hold what is real with integrity. That is the turning point, my child. Not simply whether they care. Whether they have been prepared to tell the truth without running from its consequences. You see, I do not only prepare outcomes. I prepare people. And often the hidden work is the most sacred work of all. I prepared Joseph before I elevated him. I prepared David before I established him. I prepared Ruth before I redeemed her story. I prepared Esther before I placed her in the palace. None of them could have handled the assignment in the state they were in at the beginning. Not because they were unworthy, but because the weight of the promise required strength they did not yet have. That is what has been happening here. I have been preparing them to speak, and I have been preparing you to receive what is spoken without being shattered by the waiting. Because truth is not just about revelation. It is about capacity. Can the person hear what they have prayed for? Can they stand in it without fear taking control? Can they trust me enough to stop rehearsing disaster? Can they let go of the need to predict every outcome? My beloved, I know how hard that is for you. You have lived through enough uncertainty to believe that control is safety. You have been burned enough times to think vigilance is wisdom. But there is a difference between discernment and anxiety, between caution and captivity. I am calling you out of captivity, not into foolishness, not into denial, into peace, real peace. The kind that does not disappear every time a text is unanswered. The kind that does not collapse when a conversation goes quiet. The kind that can breathe even before the outcome is visible. I want you to picture the nights when you have sat alone and wondered if anyone would ever choose you fully. I want you to remember the ache of feeling overlooked while everybody else seemed to be moving forward. I want you to remember the fatigue of being the dependable one, the strong one, the one who checks on everyone else but has no one checking on them. I see that. I know how lonely strength can be. I know how loneliness can make you overread every detail because your heart is starving for reassurance. And I know how quickly the mind can turn one unanswered question into 1,000 fearful conclusions. So let me interrupt that spiral. Not every silence is rejection. Not every delay is abandonment. Not every closed mouth is a closed door. I am working behind the curtain, And what I am doing is bigger than emotional guessing. I am preparing an honest moment. I am preparing a decisive moment. I am preparing a moment where what was hidden can finally come into the light without destroying what I am building. There will be a word. There will be a confession. There will be a turning point. But before that comes, I need you to stop punishing yourself for not having been able to force it sooner. You were not meant to carry this by manipulation. You were not meant to control another person's timing with your worry. You were not meant to live on clues. I am bringing you from clues to clarity, from guessing to grounding, from striving to stillness. And stillness is not nothing, beloved. Stillness is where I do some of my deepest work. It is where I untangle your heart from false hope. It is where I remove the urge to idolize a person simply because they have your attention. It is where I teach you that longing can become an altar if you are not careful, and that no human being, no matter how meaningful, is meant to sit in the place only I can hold. I love you too much to let that happen. So I will let the waiting expose what your heart has attached itself to, and I will use the exposure to heal you. Yes, heal you. Because this is not only about them. It is about you becoming whole enough to recognize truth when it comes. Some of what you feel right now is not just love. It is also the grief of every place you have been overlooked. It is the ache of every relationship where you had to read between the lines because nobody spoke plainly to you. It is the memory of being promised something and then left with almost enough. I am not condemning that part of you. I am revealing it so I can restore it. And here is the beautiful part, my child. The very places that made you afraid of delay are the same places where I have been building endurance. The very disappointments that made you suspicious are the same places where I have been sharpening discernment. The very nights you thought were wasted were nights I used to mature your spirit. Do you understand? Nothing has been wasted. Not the crying. Not the confusion. Not the waiting. Not the questions you were too tired to ask out loud. That is why this turning point matters so much. What felt like abandonment was actually alignment. What felt like a pause was actually my hand protecting the process. What felt like a setback was actually preparation for the truth to be spoken in a way that could be received. I know that is not how it felt. I know it felt like being left in the dark. I know it felt like one more thing you had to survive. But I am telling you, beloved, I was never wasting your pain. I was converting it into wisdom, into patience, into readiness. And I am still doing it now. Right now, as you listen. Right now, as your heart tries to brace itself. Right now, as the old fear rises and says, it will be the same again. It will end in disappointment again. You will be let down again. No, my child, not everything that has delayed you is sent to break you. Some of it was sent to prepare you for a truth that could not have been carried by the version of you that first started waiting. So take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. You do not have to force the next step. You do not have to predict the exact moment. You do not have to hold your life in a clenched fist. I am still leading. I am still speaking. And what I have been preparing behind the silence is closer than you think. My child, now I am bringing you to the edge of what I can say in this moment, because the next part requires your heart to be steady. Do not rush past this. Do not dismiss it because it feels too tender. There is a reason I have held this until now. What is about to come into the light will confirm what your spirit has already been sensing. The truth they have been hiding is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you from the burden of guessing. For some of you, this will be the moment you realize that what looked like hesitation was actually a battle. For others, this will be the moment you see that I was shielding you from an answer that would have reached you before your heart was ready. And for a few of you, this will be the moment you understand that the delay was not punishment at all, but a divine reset. My beloved, I am the Lord who goes before you and makes the crooked places straight. I am the one who opens doors no man can shut, and shuts doors no man can open. I have not changed my mind about your future just because the waiting felt long. I have said that I will work all things together for good for those who love me and are called according to my purpose, and I do not break my word. I have said that my plans for you are for a future and a hope, not for harm, and I still stand by that promise. I have said that the peace of God, which surpasses understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus, and I will do exactly what I said. So if fear has been telling you to prepare for loss, I am telling you to prepare for revelation. If anxiety has been telling you to lower your expectations, I am telling you to lift your eyes. If the enemy has been whispering that everything good in your life will eventually slip through your fingers, I am breaking that lie in my name. The Lord is your shepherd, you shall not want. That does not mean you will never wait. It means you will not be abandoned in the waiting. It means I will lead you, feed you, protect you, and bring you where your soul can rest. And I need you to hear this clearly, my child. The truth is coming in a way that will make it impossible to deny my hand. Not because people are perfect, but because I am faithful. Not because every detail will feel easy, but because what I am revealing has my fingerprints all over it. The hidden things belong to me, but I reveal what is needed at the right time. I bring secret things into the open. I expose what is false so you will not build your heart on sand. I confirm what is real so you will not mistake fear for discernment. But before that moment arrives, there is one more thing I want you to understand. The breakthrough is not only in their confession. It is in your surrender. It is in the way you finally stop asking every hour whether the promise has failed and start trusting that I am still writing. It is in the moment you decide that your peace will not be held hostage by another person's fear. It is in the quiet strength of saying, even if I do not know everything yet, I will trust the one who does. Now, my child, let me pray over you. Father, in the name of Jesus, I lift up this beloved one who has listened with a weary heart and a hopeful spirit. You see every hidden ache, every unanswered question, every place where disappointment has made them tremble. I ask you to cover them now with the peace that only heaven can give. Let the storm in their mind grow quiet. Let the fear in their chest loosen its grip. Let every lie that says they are forgotten be silenced by your presence. Lord, give them wisdom that is pure, gentle, and full of mercy. Help them discern what is from you and what is only emotional noise. Keep them from chasing counterfeits and from rejecting what is holy because of past pain. Teach them to hear your voice above every other voice. When confusion rises, be their clarity. When pressure rises, be their strength. When loneliness rises, be their comfort. When temptation rises to force what you have not yet released, give them restraint. Father, I ask you to protect their heart. Guard them from spiritual warfare that comes through fear, obsession, and false hope. Shut the mouths of every accusing voice. Break the cycle of sleepless nights and anxious replaying. Surround them with your angels. Cover their home, their body, their mind, their finances, their relationships, and their next steps. Where there has been betrayal, bring healing. Where there has been lack, bring provision. Where there has been grief, bring consolation. Where there has been delay, bring divine order. Jesus, give them courage to live with open hands. If this connection is yours, let it mature in truth, humility, and peace. If this connection must be released, give them the grace to let go without losing themselves. If there is a conversation that must happen, prepare the heart and the words. If there is repentance that must come, make room for it. If there is healing that must happen first, let it happen deeply and completely. Do what only you can do, and do it in such a way that they will know it was you. And Lord, for the one who has been waiting in silence, let this be the season where hidden things are exposed and holy things are confirmed. Let what was concealed come into the light at the right time. Let fear lose its power. Let truth rise. Let peace settle where panic used to live. Let this child know that you have never left them, never overlooked them, and never once failed to see the whole story. I ask you for breakthrough that is unmistakable. Break through the hardened heart. Break through the confusion. Break through every delay that was meant to destroy hope. Break through financial strain, emotional exhaustion, and the shame that has followed disappointment. Restore joy. Restore trust. Restore confidence in your goodness. And when the answer comes, let them recognize the sound of your hand in it. I bless this beloved one with sleeping peace tonight. I bless their mind with clarity. I bless their heart with courage. I bless their path with mercy. I bless their future with your timing. And I declare that what you have ordained will not be stolen, delayed beyond your will, or derailed by fear. You are faithful, you are near, and you are working even now. Beloved, rest now. The truth is closer than the silence.